All right, so you have installed the Simple Library, and now what do you do? Well, Simple Library has two main features. One feature is basically building a library that you can drop into Titan. The second feature is basically just overriding PDFs to completely flatten them. The main reason for this is because every PDF that goes into Titan must be completely flattened. There cannot be any clickable content. Like if you download, say, drawings for castings, for example, they may have a link to the manufacturer on the PDF that you could click. You cannot have that on there or it will not process through Titan. So I'm going to show you the two features. The simplest one is just the overwrite feature. Click on your select main folder. Whatever you select here, it's going to show you everything underneath this folder. So I'm going to click on this folder. Right, and now you can see it's brought in the PDFs that are in this folder. Let's look at the actual folder first. So if we come into here, these are the PDFs that are in this folder. And you can see if I click on this, it's actually clickable. I could actually move this data around. It's live information on the PDF, and that is not allowed in Titan. You can also see that they're all, the orientations are bad and everything else like that. So that's what we're going to fix. Let's close that and go back to our library. So you can see what it does is it actually takes each individual file, brings it into this workspace here, and you can easily just modify each one super fast. So I'm going to fix these because I don't want them to come in like this. So I'm going to rotate this one this way. I'm going to flip this one 2 times, and we're going to flip this one. All right. Now, typically you wouldn't change any other things on here. And then as you can see, when I flip these checkbox got selected. So if I select one, you can see one PDF is selected. All right. You can also come up to your folder here. And if you want to deselect all, you can click deselect all, or you can click select all, and it will select all of them. Typically, if you're overriding, what you would do is you would select your folder, then you would select your top folder, then you would click select all, and it would select everything in there. And then all you're going to do is come down here and click on overwrite existing PDFs. Click on that. It's going to give you this message here. Are you sure you want to overwrite these 3 PDFs? The page rotations will be applied, but it will not generate any image files for these. That's part of the library, and it will not generate an Excel table because that's part of the library function as well. All right, so we're just going to click on overwrite PDFs, and it's going to go ahead and process those PDFs. All right, and there you can see it's 100%, and then it's going to pop open with a box saying process complete, and it's going to tell you where it saved it. So if you click on this open main folder, this is the folder that you selected originally. It's going to go back to here, and you can see overwrite test is the one that we chose. We come into here. If we look at our previews now, number 1, everything is in the correct orientation. And number 2, if I try to select any of this text, it's no longer selectable. So it's completely flattened those PDFs. And in addition, I was able to fix the rotation of those PDFs as well. So that is the overwrite feature, pretty simple. Now we're going to get into actually building out a library that we can copy and paste into Titan, and it will just automatically build a library for us. All right, so I closed the program and reopened the program just so we can have a fresh start here. Same process. You always start with selecting your main folder. So I'm going to click select main folder. I put it on my desktop, and it's going to be this submittal drawings right here. I'm going to choose this folder, and then you can see it brings in every subfolder that's underneath it. So you can see these are the PDFs that we first saw in our first example, but then we also have these and these and these and these and these all the way down here. And as we click through them, you can see all of the PDFs in each. So the first thing I like to do is just go through, make sure everything is oriented correctly. That way I can read it. Because the next step will be filling in your picture ID and making sure your descriptions are good. So here, this one's upside down. This one is sideways. This one is sideways the other way. And also notice every time I make a change, it checks off the PDFs as selected. Okay, these are good. Good. That's good. Okay, all that's good. Now in this one here, you can see this one is red. That means there's some issue. So if we click on this one, if we hover over this, you can see path too long. It's going to be 101 characters when it builds out the full path in the library, and it can only be 100 characters. So you'd want to change this description if you were going to be keeping this PDF. So I'm just going to get rid of all this, and then we can just keep that description like that. The next step is we need to fill in a picture ID. So in our library, you have to have a picture ID, kind of like when your product codes and your descriptions, you have to have a product ID. So you could type in whatever you want here. So I'll just do these like how I would actually do it. Do it something like this. And as you can see, those change from red to blue, letting you know that that is good. You want to make sure your descriptions are good descriptions. They don't have any specific things in them. These will be the file name of the PDFs in your library. So we're not going to affect the original location of where your PDFs are. We're going to create a brand new library that can then be managed in Titan. The reason why you don't want to affect your original location is because if you have things that are not flattened and you may need to modify those files, you don't want to completely erase that stuff. So you want to kind of have two copies. So on this one here, I have a date here. I just want to delete that date. So that date is now deleted. And another thing you can do here is if the description was just terribly like awful and you just want to start over, you can hit this X. It will clear out the description for you, and then you can type in whatever description you want. And then if you make a mistake, like maybe I deleted like this, I'm like, oh no, I don't know what the number was there. You can always hit the undo button and it will put it back to the original description. So that's a good feature there. Also, you can arrow around here. So if I'm in my picture ID, I can go down to my description and change it. Also, as I'm changing my picture ID, I can tab across and it's going to go right around here. Same thing with the description, it will tab right through them. Now, of course, here at the top, if we wanted to select all of these, we could click select all. It will change all of our items to be green, meaning something is selected underneath them. I'm going to have to go through here and change the rest of the descriptions the way I want them to be, fill in my picture IDs. Also, another thing to note, if I put a number 1 here and then I tried to put a number 1 here, it's going to say that it's a duplicate, because just like product codes, you cannot have a duplicate picture ID because that's kind of like how the library is built. You're going to search through that, and that's what makes that unique. If I wanted to rename one of these folders, I can rename right here. So I'm just going to rename this to be manholes and click rename. Now you can see it's renamed. Now another thing is if you want to create another folder, so here I have my grading ring and they're under the manholes, but maybe they need their own section. So I'm going to click on add folder and I'm just going to type in grade rings and click create. It's going to make it purple until you move it. So I'm going to move it under my standard make. And then what I can do is I can take these PDF files and I can drag and drop them into the folders. So there they are. So now if we click here, they are now showing here. So this allows you to not only rotate the files, rename the files, you can also create folders, and this actually creates the folder in your file structure in Windows. It allows you to drag and drop PDFs into other folders so that you're basically organizing your library. You don't want to have all of your PDFs in one folder. it's just going to be very hard to maintain and find things when you need to make changes. So try and keep them organized, something similar to this. Another thing you want to be sure about is your final library main folder path. So this is the path that is going to be in your Titan setup. So I have mine on the T drive, and then I have product picture library, and then I have a slash. After the slash is going to be my NCDOT, my SCDOT, my standard make. It's going to be all of the folders that you see here, not including this top one. This top one will not be included. The reason why this is important is because there is a file character limit on the descriptions, and you want to have this as accurate as possible so that it can determine if there is a file name that's too long that will result in a path that is too long. I'm going to go through, I'm going to get all of these perfect, and then we're going to go to the next step. Okay, so I've gone through every single PDF in here, every folder. I've chosen the ones that I want to process, and I filled in all of the picture IDs. So everything is now completed, and I don't have to complete the picture ID if I'm not checking off one. So now we have everything that we need. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete one of these picture IDs so we can get an error so you can kind of see what happens when you do that. All right, so once you have everything set up the way you want it to be, what I would recommend is saving your project. So I'm going to go up to here and I'm going to click Save Project, and I'm just going to say it's just going to save it into the main folder, and I'm going to click on Save. And I already have one there, so I'm just going to override it, and then we're just going to click on OK. This is going to tell you where it saved it. Now you have that saved, you can always load that project back by clicking on the Load Project and click here. And then this is my one that I just saved. You can see it's at 358, and right now it's 359. So we know that's the one that we had just saved. So I could take that, open it again, load it in, click OK. And then everything that we had changed, all of our names, all of our picture IDs, all of our rotations, all of that stuff is now still there. So you don't have to redo anything. All right, so once you have everything done, we're going to click on Process PDFs, and then we're going to get this warning here. Uh-oh, we have a picture ID that is required. So please enter the picture ID for this following file. So that's the one that I removed. So I'm going to click on Fix Now. You can see that it highlights where the missing one is. So if it was in multiple folders, it would show you multiple folders, but I'm just going to click on our pipe here, and then I just need to type in something here. All right, now that's done, and now we can click on Process again. So the next step is to create the main folder. This is just going to be the folder that's going to contain your library, and then you're going to copy and paste everything underneath that folder into your main folder that's going to be in your Titan setup. Final test, and I'm going to click on Create Folder. Now it's going to pop up, and you're going to have to say where do you want to put it. So I'm just going to put it right on my desktop, and I'm going to click on Select Folder, and that's where my main folder is going to be placed. Now I've chosen my main folder, and it's now processing each PDF. Now what it's doing here is it's completely flattening the PDFs. It's also creating an image file of the PDF, and it's also going to be creating an Excel table that maps every single PDF for your entire library that you can then copy and paste into Titan, and then it will automatically link to all of your pictures because everything is going to be one-to-one. All right, so it says process complete, and now we can open our main folder. And what that's going to do is just going to jump to the folder that we put it in. Remember, we put it on the desktop, and then we have our final test here. We can go into there, and then we have just the folders that we had before. So we have our NCDOT stuff, and you can see here it's completely flattened. PDF is completely flattened. Nothing is clickable. We have our SCDOT folder, all of those drawings. And then we have our standard make, which then has more folders underneath that. And then each PDF and image file is there as well. Now the other thing that it did create here is an Excel file. So we can double tap on this to open it. And you can see it's got your picture ID. So that's just what you typed in for each PDF. It's got your image file path, which is just your main folder here. is the whatever you typed in here. So you can type in whatever you want here to match what you have over in Titan. Then it's your folder, then it's your file name, then .jpeg for the images. Then your description is whatever you typed in, and this will show on the table of contents when you do your submittal package. Your part type and your vendor are left blank because those are specific to each company, and you're going to have different options in the dropdown depending on how you have that set up. So you can either fill that in or not fill it in. It's optional. And then over here you have the path for your PDF, which is identical to this one over here, except for it's a .pdf. And then over here, you have the page count. So now let's take a look at how it would work over in Titan. Okay, so now we are over in Titan. And to get to this point, you go to Setup and Utilities, and then you go to Product Picture Library, and then it's going to come to this page. So our library is completely blank. If you look in our dropdown, nothing is there. So what we need to do is we just need to take that spreadsheet that we had and paste it over here. So we're just going to go here. We're going to grab our entire spreadsheet here. Control C for copy. Go back over to our Titan. And then right here, you can click on this datasheet view and you can just paste it in here. And there you go. You have built your entire library. So now we have all of this stuff filled in. We have our picture ID, we have our BMP path, we have our description, we have our file for, or our path for our PDF, and we have our page count. That's all that's really required here. This part type stuff is going to be specific to your company and also the vendor as well. So now what we need to do is we need to load in all of the PDFs and images to go with our library. So if you click on this open button here, it's going to give you an error if you're on the Titan Cloud. We have a picture library here. We have Titan Admin, we have Titan Projects, and we have a label, but we do not have the folder that we need. So we need to add a folder here to match our table. So what we need to do is we need to add this picture library folder in the T drive. Go back to our Titan. We're going to do a new folder. We're going to paste it in. Okay, so now we have our product library here. So we can just double tap on that. It's completely blank. And then this is where we go back over to our other computer and we grab all the files and folders. Control C that, come back over to Titan, paste it into our final directory here. This is going to take a little while because it's pasting in all of the PDFs, under all of the folders and all of the images that go along with those PDFs. All right, and there you go. So now we have all of the folders. So now if you choose any of these pictures, they're all going to be filled in here. And then you can actually arrow through them at the bottom. But now your complete picture library is done. So you can see how easy that is. And everything will actually work too because everything is flattened. Like this special text here is not going to be special. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, just leave them in the video description. And I will see you in the next video.